Shoot 'em, stab 'em, strangle 'em, they die.
Here within the second half of the Fallout 3 downloadable content weapon guide, I'm going to cover two of the most exotic DLC packs available. First is Point Lookout, with its swamps and inbred locals. Second is Mothership Zeta, with its cheesy B-movie aesthetic and cliché Martians. If you're looking for information regarding the DLC packs Operation Anchorage, The Pit, or Broken Steel, go check out the first half of my DLC weapon guide. Alright, now very quickly before I start, or rather continue since this is the second half of the DLC guide, I want to cover a few things. First is that DLC stands for downloadable content. Second is that DLC can be downloaded off of the Games for Windows Live store for the PC, the Xbox Live store for the Xbox 360, and the PlayStation store for the PlayStation 3. Third is that the Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition has all of the DLC packs built in, so you won't have to bother buying any DLC if you have a Game of the Year edition. Now that that's all out of the way, let's get to the real content of this guide. When you take a trip downriver to Point Lookout, the game content gets noticeably more difficult, and it becomes necessary for your stratagems to change just as much as the scenery does. Point Lookout alters the flavor of the game to quite an extent, making for an almost entirely different and positive experience. This is why it comes as quite a surprise that there's a lack of unique weaponry to complement the new local arsenal. There are only two new special arms which are worth mention in this DLC, the first being the backwater rifle. And if you like to play things by the local law and leave behind all your weapons when going to the swampy marshes for the first time, you'll want to grab this gun as quickly as possible. In order to get your hands on this unique lever-action rifle though, you first need to reach the final stage of the Velvet Curtain quest. From the moment you set foot on the pier of Point Lookout, head north to the Homestead Motel and enter room 1D. Check the computer terminal, then grab the key out of the suitcase on the bed. Go to the boardwalk and find some lockers on the east side. Open the locked locker set and grab the holotape inside. Then head to the bank just across the street from the motel. Walk up to the intercom in the back, bring up your Pip-Boy, and play back the tape you just picked up. But put your Pip-Boy down as soon as it starts playing. It will unlock Safety Deposit Box 1207. Retrieve its contents and listen to the note. Then head to the Turtle Dove Detention Camp, which is located on the northern border of the map, northwest of the Ark and Dove Cathedral. Once you arrive and handle the nasties occupying the area, go down into the cellar of the main building on the west side of the camp. Find the body lockers and open the compartment marked as Agent Yang's. Examine the skeletal remains and retrieve the code you're after. Then head to the sunken submarine, located west of the lighthouse and just north of a rusted boat still floating in the water. Once you're inside the sub, activate the terminal and input the code. Throw the failsafe switch at the other end of the sub and promptly leave. Roughly 30 seconds after you exit the submarine, it will self-destruct, so don't hang around too long and get away. After destroying the aquatic vessel, head back to the 1D motel room and access the terminal again. After reading the message, grab the glasses out of the toilet tank and head to Calvert Mansion. Enter what's left of the greenhouse and put on the glasses. You'll see rings on each of the 4 vases. The number of rings a vase has represents its number. Activate them in the right order, as detailed by the message you read on the computer back in the motel room. If you forgot the code, check your Pip-Boy, as the message was downloaded to it under the notes section. After successfully activating the vases in the right order, a trapdoor will open on the floor. Go down into the bunker and you will find the backwater rifle on a shelf in the back room. With that out of the way, the only weapon left to mention is the microwave emitter, which is a unique mesmetron. Now, unlike the mesmetron, the microwave emitter doesn't stun people. It's just a weapon. The thing that makes this energy arm so useful is the fact that it completely ignores armor and damage resistance. Using it against enemies like Mirelurks, Enclave soldiers, or Talon Company mercs is ideal, because the damage they receive from it is as if they weren't wearing armor at all. Getting this weapon is fairly simple. All you have to do is finish the main Point Lookout quest. Down in the lab, no matter who you side with, there will be a reward vault just around the corner. Inside is some minor loot and the microwave emitter. After you successfully become a pincushion for Martian experiments in Mothership Zeta, you get a chance to fight back, but are forced to learn the tools of the extraterrestrial trade. Since you'll be busy exacting revenge on the nasty Greys crawling all over the ship, it's likely that you'll miss some of the more unique versions of their alien weapons. Mothership Zeta is a big step in a very different direction, and the large number of new weapons can quite easily overwhelm even a veteran Fallout 3 player. For that reason, it's fairly easy to pass right over the unique weapons found on the mothership. Before talking about any of the weapons though, it's very important to tell you that whenever you beat Mothership Zeta, 99% of the ship is rendered inaccessible. For that sole reason, you have only one chance to acquire all of these weapons because you can't backtrack. You've been warned, so no complaining about how you beat Mothership Zeta but can't go back and grab the good weapons. If that's what happens, it's all your own fault. Something else I need to mention is that 3 of the 4 special guns on the mothership are located in the weapons lab. The weapons lab is located right after the observation deck, which is where you re-enter the ship after your walk in space. The first weapon is the Atomic Pulverizer, the alternative model of the Alien Atomizer. While the Pulverizer isn't much more powerful than the standard Atomizer, it does have a significantly lower AP cost, allowing you to shoot it more often in VATS. In fact, the AP cost on this weapon is so low that there's no other ranged weapon in the entire game of Fallout 3 that can be shot more in bullet time at a single clip. Also, this gun is one of the few that has 0 spread, so the shots always go where you aim, and you'll never end up just missing without it being your own fault. In order to get this weapon, you first need at least a science skill of 75 or greater. When you first enter the weapons lab, head to the far door on the east wall, and in the hallway beyond, hack the control panel on the right to open the door. Inside the room, you'll find not 1, but 2 atomic pulverizers sitting on a shelf next to a container. Next is more or less an alien shotgun called the Alien Disintegrator. The unique version of this weapon is called the Destabilizer, which is fully automatic. The downside to this weapon is that it does less damage per hit, making it inferior to the base model when used in VATS. However, it balances out because it shoots faster, so it's a better choice if you like to run and gun while primarily ignoring your bullet time option. Just like with the last gun, it's located in the weapons lab. More specifically, it's sitting on a shelf next to a teleporter in the firing range, which is the room just north of the door to the experimentation lab. It shouldn't be that hard to find. Now, the oversized gun you can find is the Drone Cannon, and its unique counterpart is called the Drone Cannon EX-B. The best part about this big gun is that its projectiles explode on impact and don't bounce around like they do from the normal model. This makes the weapon much more predictable and far more useful in combat, if not a little less entertaining. As with the last 2 firearms, this one is also found in the weapons lab. It's held by a drone in a room immediately east of the southernmost room in the weapons lab. First, you have to activate the drone by pressing one of the buttons in front of the windows outside of the room. Next, you have to destroy the drone. Also, you should be aware of the fact that the cannon the drone drops is a normal one. However, it will have the special EX-B model in its inventory. The last weapon that's significant enough to mention that's found on the mothership is a unique model of the Enclave plasma pistol. The MPLX Nova Surge is the pre-war prototype of the Enclave model, and deals 3 times the damage. It also has a higher chance of scoring a critical hit. However, it's twice as heavy and uses twice the ammo for a single shot. Ammo for this gun is common though, tipping the scales for it to be a great choice, regardless of the cons. Getting your hands on this weapon is fairly easy. However, it requires you to have a science skill of at least 75 in order to hack a terminal. On the east side of the engineering core, next to the hangar entrance, is a smaller door leading to the cargo bay. Inside are several items from the wasteland which are worth taking, but if you look around enough, you'll find an active computer terminal. Access it and hack it in order to disengage the lock of a safe not too far away. Just around the bend, there's a large hole acting as a garbage dump. Right next to it is the safe which the terminal is connected to. Inside, you can find some ammo, the MPLX Nova Surge, and some notes detailing its construction. The DLC for Fallout 3 offers a wide and varied number of additional different flavors for you to experience during the game. The fact is reflected in the 15 different guns that I just talked about, and hopefully at least one of those firearms tickles your fancy, even if none of the other guns in the game do.
The DLC for Fallout 3 offers a wide and varied number of additional different flavors for you to experience during the game. That fact is reflected in the 15 different guns that I just talked about, and hopefully at least one of those firearms tickles your fancy, even if none of the other guns in the game do.